Both these sides have been described as being a little bit light on up front. Newcastle with first use of the football. Quentin O'Brien in the headgear. He had a nasty gash in the match against South Sydney when he came together with Craig Wing. So Bill Peden now on the ground that, of course, brought them the grand final in 1997, and Peden is one of the few remaining in the pack. Butterfield, another of them, but that's where you run out of names. St George, I heard David Waite saying in a radio interview last Sunday that many of them didn't come ready to play football against Auckland for the first 40 minutes last Friday night, wasn't it? So they'll be looking to get a good start on tonight. Andrew Johns, a starring role against South, dispelling any thoughts that the groin was a problem. We know that it is. Unfamiliar number for Anthony Mundine, number 18. Cold night in Sydney. Quite a strong breeze blowing as Patton is put to ground just beyond the 40-metre line. Now one of the very good Dragon players, Sean Timmins. Nathan Brown into acting half to the right for Pearson. Mackay. Then away for Barrett. Now for McGregor. McGregor's through! Supporters coming. The pass looks suspect.
That was worse than suspect. It was forward.
That's bad wing play.
Well,
I know he's one of the stars, but it's bad positional play by Blacklock.
You've got to say they bombed a try there. McGregor one-on-one, easily slipped through that tackle, and away he went. He had support back on the inside and just threw the forward pass.
Craigie playing it. Rahihi and jumper number 16 on the halfway line for Badira. Andrew John. Then a cutout ball. Gidley came in. Albert juggled the ball and then takes the tackle of Timmins. 5 gone for Newcastle, for Andrew Johns to kick, and he does that high and across the park. They got a heap of tries off it last Sunday. Flick pass went badly wrong. Blacklock is away. Blacklock down the right of the ground. Blacklock looking for the line. Blacklock beats another one. He's beaten the same one 3 times. Mundine will score. Length of the field try. What will the Acrobats do tonight? Nathan Blacklock and Anthony Mundine. Well, Blacklock has put a corkscrew on them.
Well, just 2 adventures here from Newcastle. The kick from Andrew Johns. Moody was onside, but they throw a flick pass and they don't look at where it's going. It's Mark Hughes. We freeze it there. Look, it goes straight to Wayne Bartram. He hasn't had a look, Mark Hughes, and as play continues on, Bartram finds Blacklock on the outside. I thought he'd score here, but Matthew Johns does a pretty good job. Goes across field, slows down, forces Blacklock back on the inside. Smales is there helping out. Johns pushed off up high, which undid most of the good work. And then Anthony Mundine sails up on the outside. And normally we see the pass goes the other way. Normally see Mundine to this man scoring tries. This time the reverse.
He hung off as long as he could, Matthew Johns. Eventually got to him. They should have wrecked him up there, no doubt about it.
There's Bartram's kick, hitting the uprights and bouncing away. No addition to a 4-0 scoreline. Now Barrett. Mundine. Timmins. It's a real shootout, isn't it, between the 2 back lines. Ainsko. And that could be play on. It is. Chance for Mundine. Chance for St George. Barrett's over the line. They played the whistle and they won. Barrett is in to score simply because the Dragons played the whistle.
Okay, now the only thing you're checking for here is whether he's onside.
Yeah, but I don't understand why Newcastle didn't play the ball. They stood around and looked at it.
Ample chance to dive on it, but Dearest was standing next to it. And the St George players, they just reacted quicker. Mundine, he had a choice of 4 players, and the best option by far was the try scorer in Barrett.
Well, you can't really see a problem. They're still checking it on the... Well, there you go.
No, he's knocked on.
And that's why I'd say they just left it to be. Badera's just said, well, I'm not going to touch that. They've made the knock on. And you will think this will be brought back now. He hasn't got his foot to the football. He's kneed it. But it's still a knock on, isn't it? Or not?
It's a try. He said off his knee, it's a try. So he's saying that constitutes a kick.
Well, Bill Harrigan has been given the green light. And St George Illawarra get their second try. So Bartram has got a very simple attempt this time. He missed earlier on, but he doesn't miss this time. And the Dragons lead the Knights 10 points to 0 after 19 minutes of play. Coming up to the 13th minute. Good drop kick. It went 50 metres. And Butterfield takes it back 10 metres for a driving tackle. Colin Ward is okay in 15. That's Bartram in 13 making another tackle, his 17th for the game. Clinton O'Brien. Bill Payton getting the ball very late, right on the ad line. Andrew. Lomax. Payton. Still Newcastle pushing the ball. Gidley now for Albert. The famous corner where he scored the grand final winning try. Andrew Johns grabbing it in. They'll get there. They're over. Matthews in. The Johns brothers have gone double whammy. Matthew off Andrew, and Newcastle are in.
And we've pointed out on many occasions that Newcastle have the best strike rate from the kick in scoring tries of any team in the competition. Andrew Johns going to the line. One line of defence. St George too tough for them to turn and chase. And Matthew Johns had the fly on Trent Barrett and races through to score a simple but an oh-so-important try. They had to be the next to score.
Yeah, they both had terrific games tonight, Andrew and Matthew Johns. And there's something special happening out there for them again. They're both geniuses, aren't they? Great players. And they've got the Knights back into the game. It's converted.
Great opportunity here for the red and the blue. Matthew. Gidley doing the stepping. Gidley. He lost the ball. Harrigan.
I think it was raked out.
It's a penalty. Two in the tackle, raked out. Now what will Newcastle do? Quick tap taken by the Knights. Runner. Badera's from Andrew. Now for Bill Payton. Jolting tackle by Barrett. Andrew again. Now for Butterfield. Butterfield's over. Big Tony Butterfield. He's over adjacent to the uprights. The crowd here, they go up, as do everybody in the Hunter.
Well, the percentage play was to take the kick at goal, but instinct is a wonderful thing in rugby league. They could sniff a try. This gave them the penalty. Timmins and Ward involved in the tackle. The referee, on touch judge's advice, said it was raked out. And as Johns takes it forward, we freeze it there. You can see Anthony Mundine has come in and allowed Butterfield on his outside, and the quality of the pass puts the big front rower and their captain in for a rare try.
And the big fella loves it. Props don't score many, and never any as easy as that.
An individual in a match last Sunday, and he puts the extras on the try. Scored by his captain. Newcastle in front for the first time.
Got to say, Paul McGregor didn't really play very well there at all. He had to drift across. He stood there and allowed Newcastle to create an overlap. I do have a bit of faith on his inside men that they would cover.
Bartram's down injured in back play. Barrett. Pearson. Brown. Kicking for Fitzgibbon and McGregor. They're going to win the race. No! They've overrun it. They've run off the end of the tarmac.
Well, Nathan Brown is claiming that Jason Moody pushed the chasers, and obviously the touch judge believes that he jostled, that he shouldered them out of the way.
Now, Gidley. Got a great step off his left foot. 42 metres out. Half a minute to go. Glengrieff. 40-metre line now. Saints end of the ground. Simpson. 30-metre line. 10 seconds of the first half to go. Andrew. Inside for Lomax. Back and away for Andrew. Sloppily, nevertheless. Gidley. Patton is with the ball as the siren brings us to the end. Tremendously exciting first half of football. First it was St George Illawarra, then it was Newcastle, and they go to the break the night, leading by 2. A match that both clubs know they have to win. Bill Harrigan's our referee tonight, if he's just joined us. And we've had 4 first half tries. Some brilliant football here at the football stadium, which gives us just a little taste of what is ahead in the playoffs, with 8 teams that probably can all make a case for why they might win the grand final. Very exciting period ahead. Of course, St George and Newcastle realise that a loss tonight could well see them out of that top 8. Andrew Johns clutching at the throat as the Dragons put a kick down the ground. There's a chase on from Blacklock.
And Craigie had to scurry there. The kick was from Matthew Rodwell, and he's come out to start the second half. He has not been used off the bench so far in this game. That one's off the side of the boot, and he's on for Wayne Bartram, so you would imagine there'll be a swap around in the St George lineup, but Blacklock did well to get through on the fullback.
Problems now for Brad Mackay. The veteran back rower for the Dragons involved in this clash. It's a head clash with the Newcastle player taking it out, Mark Hughes. Badeiras. Lomax. Strong tackle by Tracy. Butterfield. 5 metres away from the line. Andrew Johns. Finding Matthew. Then back inside for Pete and for Badeiras. Badeiras for Andrew Johns. He'll get there. Yes. Short. I think he's lost the ball.
No, short.
Here.
Bill Harrigan said short. Now whether he's lost it after that, but in putting the football down, he hasn't got to the line.
He's a very strong little fellow to stop. But Bill has called that as short. On the evidence in front of us, it's hard to argue with him.
Just to get down the other end of the field or make a break, and there's Blacklock getting it to Pearson. He's got support in Mundine.
Mundine puts a kick in to beat the fullback. A race between Blacklock and Moody wins the day.
Well, they are a side who can score from anywhere in the park, St George Illawarra, and they nearly proved it then. They were 40 metres out from their own line, and the Magic boys took over. Mundine looking for Blacklock. There's a bit of jostling in the background, but Moody holds his ground and just gets there in time.
Steve Roach.
Can't understand for the life of me why he would chip over the top there. He's only got one man to beat. We know how good Mundine is on his feet. Why didn't he have a go?
Matthew Johns unloading for Butterfield. Butterfield away for Craigie. Craigie is in space. Fullback to beat. He does the same. Gets the regather. He's over. Owen Craigie. Craigie is over. Newcastle 16. St George Illawarra 10. Well, we've been saying how well he was playing, He comes back to a hero's reception.
Yeah, he really deserves it, Owen Craig. It's been a tough season for him. Matthew Johns again, the light fantastic, lovely little interplay here, and the step from Craigie, straight up the middle of the ruck, the left foot kick. He's got so much talent, got the good bounce, and just was able to get out of Mundine's clutching tackle to score next to the post. They had to crack the Dragons, but it still took some brilliance from the Newcastle Knights.
He came from nowhere, you know, to put himself into the play. Not too many players who have played the game can do what he just did there. On the fly, a left foot kick. And away he goes. Saints, they defended so well tonight, but on this occasion, all to no avail.
We saw 10 tries last week against South Sydney, which were absolutely beautiful to watch. People went away from Marathon not saying that South Sydney were woeful. They were saying how good were the Knights. And that try rivals any of the 10 we saw last week.
And a touch of irony. Mundine tried to do exactly the same thing at the other end of the ground 60 seconds ago. It didn't work for Anthony, but it worked for Owen Craigie. Andrew Johns.
Ray, I think this is to win the match. I don't think the Dragons can score twice, despite the fact there's just under 10 minutes, and this will put them 8 clear.
174 points for the year. 2 from 2 tonight. And Andrew Johns gets another 2. So Peter Sterling said that's it. 18 to 10. And when Sterling says that's it, that is it. But I am here to tell you he has been wrong. We'll let a bucket of water overflow one day.
Stay behind.
Shallow restart by the Dragon. Newcastle got a hand on it. Blacklock is away. Down to the 20-metre line. For Barrett. Brown. Mundine. Short ball for Tracy. In for Timmins now. Behind Brown for Mundine. For Pearson. Away for Brown. The Dragons down by 8. Throwing it around. Ainsko, that's their first tackle inside the opposition 20. Barrett's pass for McGregor. McGregor's over. McGregor's in. St. George, Illawarra have responded. And Sterling said that's it.
Stop looking at me. The Dragons, the first time that they've been down in the attacking 20, get the job done and get the ball over the line. And Paul McGregor, Ray pointed out earlier tonight that he's back to the kind of form that saw him represent. You've got to agree with that. Smart play there, Nathan Brown, the short kick-off. Rudder couldn't take it. Blacklock picked it up. And within 6 tackles, we see a cutout pass from Barrett onto McGregor. He steps back inside. Hughes can't handle it. And they are still a chance. And there is still time.
Snorkel Damas, he does it again. Little schnozzer. It was all over within 60 seconds. Saints have come up with a brilliant try. What a match, what a game. It's one of the best of the year.
You've taken the heat off us, Nostradamus. Good boy. Take some heat away from us.
Only wrong if the Knights get beaten, you know that.
15 in from touch, 18 metres. He's missed it. Oh dear. Wayne Bartram offline tonight. To the 40-metre line. It is with Bartram. Now Fitzgibbon. Beautiful take by Barrett. Along the line for Mundine. Likewise for Tracy. And Darren able to get it away for Sean Timmin. And Andrew Johns has got a problem in back play. Brown generating play down the blind side. Ainsko is away. Jamie will score, will he? No, he gets it in. Brown will score. Brown will score. And the Dragons, they have scored behind the uprights. They will convert. They will win the game. Oh boy, oh boy. Sterling has made his biggest play.
He's made a goose for himself.
No, you haven't, son. You've just said what most of us felt.
Nathan Brown, great vision from the play the ball as we freeze it there. Nathan Brown, he looks up this way, but he sees that there is only one defender on the short side and there are two attackers. So he picks the ball up as play continues and goes that way. And he draws Darren Albert. Jamie Ainscough gets outside Darren Albert, and Nathan Brown stayed alive to score the try. So simple, but how important is that try going to be when we get to the quarterfinals?
Great work by Nathan Brown. Andrew Johns was down in the background. That's where the defender was missing. He'd have been on this side of the ruck, covering up that big hole. Brown saw that. And there's high fives, there's arms in the air. Great performance from the Dragons. They've had no football, but they've produced a whirlwind performance in the last 5 minutes. And Bartram should convert this to give them the lead.
Bartram from right in front. He converts. The Dragons, they look as though they're going to win it. Nobody will enjoy this more than Nathan Brown.
Well, we've got a Dragons knock on here from the short kick-off. The Knights will have a chance, and they'll get a full set of 6 in easily in the 2.5 minutes. But if the Dragons do win this, you can see the ball going forward off Paul McGregor. If Dragons do win it, it may well be a pivotal time in their seasons. We see Andrew Johns leaving the field.
He was injured in the play before that St George. Here's a chance. Darren Albert! Darren Albert! He's over the line! Darren Albert! He's done it again! The grand final hero! He's done it again! Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy! This is incredible!
They were always going to win at the Knights.
You said it, boy.
And Matthew Gidley comes up with, well, one of the greatest plays of the season.
Judges, Sterling.
Matthew Gidley on the outside, 3 defenders. He's got on the outside of and flicked it to Darren Albert, who only moments ago was chasing Jamie Ainscough at the other end of the field. He flirted with the dead ball line, and we thought that the Dragons had come up with the Houdini act. No, Newcastle have.
It's the pass of the century, no doubt about it from Gidley. You come back to the short kick-off, they had a go at it. They got the ball back from the knock-on from St George Illawarra, and absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It doesn't get any better, does it?
What about that? That is rugby league at its best.
Well, it's claim 2 of us, Sterlo.
Yeah, look.
When St George scored, I said St George will score behind the post. He will convert and they will win the game. So we've both jumped in the same pot. Well done.
I'm going to hit you with another cliche tonight, Ray. This is one game of rugby league that both sides should walk away with 2 competition points, because the entertainment value they have provided this evening has been above and beyond the call of duty.
Please don't say the game has been the winner.
No, not that cliche. Owen Craigie now.
And he's missed it. So there is 1.25 minutes to go. Do you want to declare Newcastle fat man?
It's not over yet. Hang on, hold that phone.
This pass.
Steve Roach.
First, the old champion, Paul McGregor, puts his mark on the game, and then the young up-and-comer. What a flick pass that was. That was sensational, and almost the same dance by Darren Albert as he did in the grand final.
That ball just went the 10. Perfectly weighted. Danny Badeiras saving for Newcastle. Lomax. Rudder. This was the kick by Brown. I'm wondering whether Mundine was behind the kicker. Harrigan, this was Paul when Albert went in to score.
Another man we forgot to mention on the sideline sitting behind the chief there. Peter Shields has been out for a while as Matthew Johns does the smart thing, puts the ball out of play. 15 seconds left to go. That's the game.
Well, you could hear the roar from Hunter Street, Newcastle a couple of minutes ago, couldn't you? When they pulled it out. That man, Darren Albert, did it again. They've won it. It is over. There are some very tired bodies. One of rugby league's great games of 1999, and there have been plenty. And how many times has St George Illawarra been a part of the great games this year? On on the downside, I just wonder whether that will take them into a situation where they might miss the top 8. That was the flick from Gidley that led to Darren Albert winning the game. So the Dragons will have to regroup off 30 points and win their last 2. 22-20. What a beauty. What a ripper of a game. As the Newcastle players head across to these wonderful fans, busloads of them that have made the trip again for a club game, but a club game of mammoth proportions.